Respect isn't just given, it's earned through consistent actions, integrity, and the way you carry yourself in the world. Yet, far too often, people unknowingly engage in behaviors that chip away at the respect others have for them. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or even within families, certain habits can make you appear untrustworthy, unreliable, or simply unpleasant to be around. The truth is, human interactions are governed by unspoken rules of mutual dignity. When you violate these principles, whether through carelessness, arrogance, or weakness, you risk losing not just respect, but also opportunities, relationships, and even self-respect. No one sets out to be disliked, yet without self-awareness, it's easy to fall into patterns that repel rather than attract admiration. Today, we'll explore 7 toxic habits that silently sabotage the respect people have for you. Some may seem obvious, while others are subtle but equally damaging. The good news? Each of these behaviors is within your power to change. By recognizing them, you can rebuild trust, strengthen your character, and ensure that your presence commands respect rather than resentment. Respect is one of the most valuable currencies in human relationships, yet it's fragile. It takes years to build and only moments to lose. Many people wonder why they aren't taken seriously, why others dismiss them, or why they struggle to maintain strong connections. Often, the answer lies in their own behavior. No one wakes up intending to be disrespected, but without self-awareness, small habits accumulate into major reputational damage. The worst part, you might not even realize you're doing these things. But those around you notice, and their silent judgments shape how they treat you. Today we'll examine 7 toxic habits that erode respect. Some are obvious, others are subtle but just as destructive. The good news? Every one of them is within your control to change. Let's begin. 1, chronic irresponsibility. When you constantly make excuses, blame others, or fail to follow through, people stop taking you seriously. Responsibility is the foundation of trust. If you can't own your mistakes or deliver on commitments, you signal incompetence or immaturity. Think about it. Would you trust someone who always has an excuse for being late, missing deadlines, or failing to meet expectations? No. Over time, people will stop relying on you and respect will fade. The fix: take ownership. Admit failures, correct them, and prove you can be dependable. Habit 2, dishonesty. Even small lies, whether big or small, destroy credibility. Even white lies, when discovered, make people question everything you say. Deception might give short-term gains, but long-term, it labels you as untrustworthy. If people catch you exaggerating, twisting facts, or hiding the truth, they'll assume you're always hiding something. And once trust is broken, respect follows. The fix: commit to radical honesty. If the truth is uncomfortable, learn to communicate it with tact, but never deceive. Habit 3, constant complaining without action. Everyone faces hardships, but incessant whining without any effort to improve makes you seem weak and exhausting to be around. Venting occasionally is normal, but if your default mode is victimhood, people will avoid you. Respect goes to those who tackle problems, not those who just complain about them. The fix: focus on solutions. If something bothers you, take steps to change it, or accept it gracefully. Habit 4, disrespecting boundaries, ignoring social cues, overstepping personal space, or demanding too much from others is a fast track to losing respect. Whether it's interrupting people, asking intrusive questions, or being overly clingy, boundary violations make people uncomfortable and they'll distance themselves. The fix: pay attention to social signals. Respect people's time, privacy, and emotional limits. Habit 5, lack of self-discipline. If you're always late, disorganized, or lazy, people assume you don't respect them or yourself. Self-discipline is a sign of strength. Without it, you appear unreliable and unserious. Whether it's poor time management, neglecting health, or failing to improve, a pattern of laziness repels respect. The fix: set standards for yourself. Show up on time, keep promises, and demonstrate self-control. Habit 6, arrogance and know-it-all behavior. Confidence earns respect, arrogance destroys it. If you constantly talk over people, dismiss others' ideas, or act like you're superior, people will resent you, not admire you. True competence doesn't need to announce itself. Humility paired with capability is far more respected than empty boasting. The fix: listen more than you speak. Acknowledge others' contributions. Confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. Habit 7, emotional volatility. If you fly off the handle at minor frustrations, cry to manipulate situations, or guilt trip others, people will see you as unstable. Emotional regulation is maturity. Unchecked outbursts make you seem unpredictable and draining. The fix: practice emotional discipline. Pause before reacting. Respond, don't explode. Conclusion: respect isn't about being perfect, it's about being principled. Eliminating these 7 habits won't just improve how others see you, it'll strengthen your self-respect. Change won't happen overnight, but awareness is the first step. Audit your behavior. Ask yourself, would I respect someone who acted this way? If the answer is no, it's time to adjust. Because in the end, respect isn't demanded, it's earned, and it starts with you. Here are your 5 expanded keynotes, each containing approximately 2,000 characters of detailed content, which include instrumentation on sonnet and prose. Nothing erodes respect faster than a pattern of unreliability. When you habitually miss deadlines, break promises, or shift blame onto others, you're not just failing at a task, you're failing at a fundamental human contract. People stop seeing you as someone they can depend on, and once that perception takes root, it becomes incredibly difficult to change. The psychology behind this is simple. Humans are hardwired to value consistency and predictability in social interactions. When someone proves themselves unreliable, our subconscious flags them as a potential liability. This isn't about occasional mistakes, everyone has those, but about a persistent unwillingness to take ownership of one's obligations. The workplace is where this habit becomes particularly damaging. Colleagues who constantly have to pick up your slack will quickly grow resentful. Managers will hesitate to give you important assignments. In personal relationships, chronic irresponsibility manifests as forgotten anniversaries, last-minute cancellations, and a general sense that you can't be counted on when it matters. What makes this especially insidious is that irresponsible people often don't realize how their behavior affects others. They make excuses, I'm just so busy, minimize the impact, it's not that big a deal, or blame external factors. Traffic was terrible, but each instance chips away at their credibility. The path to fixing this begins with ruthless self-honesty. Start tracking your commitments in writing. Before agreeing to anything, pause and realistically assess whether you can deliver. When you do fail, and you will, offer sincere apologies without justification. Then demonstrate through subsequent actions that you're changing. Small, consistent acts of responsibility rebuild trust far faster than grand but empty promises. Dishonesty and deception, the high cost of small lies. Human relationships operate on a foundation of trust, and nothing destroys that foundation faster than dishonesty. This isn't just about major betrayals. The cumulative effect of small lies can be equally devastating. When people catch you in falsehoods, even minor ones, they begin to question everything you say. There's a psychological phenomenon called the halo effect in reverse. Once someone catches you lying about one thing, they assume you're probably lying about many things. Your entire character comes under suspicion, and this is why white lies are so dangerous. They establish a pattern of deception that makes people wonder what else you might be hiding. In professional settings, dishonesty manifests in resume padding, taking credit for others' work, or misrepresenting progress on projects. In personal relationships, it shows up as secretive behavior, broken promises couched in excuses, or carefully constructed partial truths. The internet age has made deception easier than ever, but it's also made getting caught more likely. What many dishonest people fail to realize is that the stress of maintaining lies often outweighs any temporary benefit. The mental energy required to keep stories straight, the constant fear of exposure, and the damage to self-respect create a heavy psychological toll. The solution begins with understanding why you lie. Is it to avoid conflict, to inflate your image, to cover up mistakes? Once you identify the motivation, you can address the root cause. Practice radical honesty in low-stakes situations to build the habit. When you do need to deliver difficult truths, learn to do so with tact and timing, but never through deception. The victimhood trap. There's a crucial difference between venting legitimate frustrations and wallowing in perpetual complaint. The former is a normal human need. The latter is a recipe for losing respect. When you constantly complain but never take steps to improve your situation, you signal helplessness and lack of agency. This habit is particularly damaging because it's contagious. Chronic complainers create toxic environments where problems loom larger than solutions. Colleagues, friends, and family members start to dread interactions with them, associating their presence with negativity and emotional drain. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Repetitive complaining actually rewires the brain to focus on the negative, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of dissatisfaction. This learned helplessness becomes a personal brand. Others start to see you not as someone who faces challenges, but as someone who is defined by them. In professional contexts, constant complainers are often passed over for promotions because they're seen as unable to handle responsibility. In personal relationships, they become emotional burdens rather than equal partners. Even when their complaints are valid, the lack of constructive action undermines their credibility. Breaking this cycle requires conscious effort. Start by implementing a no complaint without suggestion rule. If you identify a problem, you must also propose at least one potential solution. Practice gratitude journaling to retrain your brain's focus. Most importantly, take small actions toward changing the things you complain about most. Even tiny steps break the victim mentality and rebuild others' respect. Disregarding boundaries, the fast track to social isolation. Personal boundaries are the invisible lines that define comfortable human interaction, and violating them is one of the surest ways to lose respect. This manifests in countless ways, showing up unannounced, demanding immediate responses to messages, asking intrusive questions, or touching people without consent. What makes boundary violations so damaging is that they demonstrate a fundamental lack of respect for others' autonomy. Each violation communicates, whether consciously or not, that your needs or impulses matter more than the other person's comfort. Over time, this creates resentment and avoidance. In professional settings, boundary violations include taking credit for others' work, monopolizing meetings, or making unreasonable demands on colleagues' time. In personal relationships, they appear as jealousy, possessiveness, or emotional dumping. The digital age has introduced new forms of boundary crossing, like expecting 24/7 availability or oversharing on social media. Many boundary violators don't realize they're doing anything wrong. They might mistake initial politeness for genuine welcome, or assume that because they're comfortable with certain behaviors, others should be too. This lack of social awareness becomes part of their reputation. People start describing them as too much or overbearing. Developing boundary awareness starts with paying attention to social cues. Notice when people tense up, change the subject, or create physical distance. Err on the side of formality in professional contexts. Practice asking rather than assuming. Would this be a good time to talk? Remember that respecting boundaries doesn't mean being cold, it means allowing relationships to develop at a comfortable pace for all involved. Lack of self-discipline, why potential isn't enough. Natural talent might earn initial admiration, but without discipline, it eventually inspires pity or contempt. When you consistently fail to follow through, miss deadlines, or neglect self-improvement, people stop taking you seriously, no matter how intelligent or capable you might be. This habit is particularly insidious because it often masquerades as being easygoing or not sweating the small stuff. But there's a world of difference between healthy flexibility and chronic laxity. One is adaptive, the other is fundamentally disrespectful of others' time and expectations. The workplace consequences are obvious. Undisciplined employees are the first to be let go during tough times, but the personal costs are just as severe. Friends stop inviting you to events because you're always late. Romantic partners grow frustrated by broken commitments. Even family members begin to discount your promises. What many fail to realize is that self-discipline isn't about punishment or deprivation. It's about aligning your actions with your stated values. Every time you say you'll do something, but don't, you're essentially telling the world and yourself that your word doesn't mean much. Building discipline starts with small, non-negotiable commitments. Wake up at the same time every day. Follow through on minor promises. Use systems and accountability partners. As these small wins accumulate, so will others' respect and, more importantly, your self-respect. Remember, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about showing up consistently enough that people can rely on you when it matters. Each keynote provides a comprehensive exploration of the habit while offering practical solutions. The content remains professional and YouTube compliant while delivering substantive, psychological, and behavioral insights. Let me know if you'd like any refinements or expansion. Conclusion: rebuilding respect through self-awareness and action. Respect is not given, it's earned through consistent behavior, integrity, and emotional maturity. The 7 habits we've discussed, chronic irresponsibility, dishonesty, endless complaining, boundary violations, lack of discipline, arrogance, and emotional volatility, all share one thing in common. They reveal a lack of self-mastery. When people observe these patterns in you, they instinctively withdraw their respect because they recognize instability, unreliability, or self-centeredness. The good news, every one of these habits can be reversed. The first step is brutal self-honesty, acknowledging where you've fallen short without excuses. The second is committing to change through small daily actions. Show up on time, keep promises, even the minor ones. Listen more than you speak. Control your reactions instead of letting emotions control you. Respect others' boundaries as you'd want yours respected. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming accountable. People will forgive occasional mistakes if they see genuine effort and growth, but they will not tolerate repeated patterns that signal disregard for their time, trust, or dignity. Ultimately, respect is a reflection of how you treat yourself as much as how you treat others. When you demand more from yourself, when you refuse to settle for laziness, deceit, or emotional carelessness, you inspire respect naturally. It stops being something you chase and becomes something you embody. So ask yourself today, which of these habits have I allowed into my life? Then take the hardest, most liberating step. Own it, fix it, and watch how the world responds. Because when you change how you show up, you change how others see you. And that is where true respect begins. The unshakable foundation of lasting respect. Respect is the invisible currency that governs all human relationships in business, love, friendship, and society. Lose it and doors close silently around you. Earn it and opportunities unfold with surprising ease. What we've uncovered through these 7 corrosive habits is something profound. Respect isn't about who you pretend to be, it's about who you actually are when no one's watching. The common thread running through irresponsibility, dishonesty, chronic complaining, boundary violations, lack of discipline, arrogance, and emotional instability is self-betrayal. Each time you choose the easy lie over the hard truth, indulgence over discipline, or emotional outbursts over measured responses, you're not just losing others' respect, you're abandoning your own self-respect. And people can sense this erosion of character long before you do. The turning point change begins with a simple but revolutionary shift. Stop asking for respect and start deserving it. 1, become a person of your word. When your promises become guarantees, people stop doubting and start relying on you. 2, let your actions speak first. Respect isn't claimed through words, it's demonstrated through consistent behavior over time. 3, master your emotions, not by suppressing them, but by channeling them with wisdom. A man who controls his temper commands attention. A man who doesn't loses it. 4, respect others' boundaries. The quickest way to show your own dignity is to honor the dignity of others. The ripple effect. When you eliminate even one of these 7 habits, something remarkable happens. Colleagues start seeking your input. Friends value your presence more deeply. Romantic partners look at you with renewed admiration. Most importantly, you begin trusting yourself. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming reliable. The world forgives honest mistakes from those who own them. What it doesn't forgive are patterns of weakness masquerading as excuses. Your invitation to strength, tonight, look in the mirror and ask, if everyone treated me the way I've been behaving, would I respect them? If the answer unsettles you, congratulations, you've just taken the first step toward earning genuine respect. The kind that isn't demanded but freely given. The kind that opens doors, deepens relationships, and most crucially, lets you sleep at night knowing you're someone worthy of trust. The choice is yours. The time is now. Who will you decide to become?